Did the Canadian government break Nuremberg codes during 2020? That's what I asked ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to read through the Nuremberg codes that were written in the Helsinki Agreement that Canada did sign on. It is not a policy or a law. However, it is part of human rights practices. Then I asked it to go through the EA, which is the Emergencies Act, to see if there's any provisions in that act that would allow the government to basically surpass Nuremberg codes. Those of you who don't know what a Nuremberg code is, it's basically a code that was made after World War II because a bunch of the Nazi scientists were testing on human beings and creating, just atrocities. And so they came up with a code, a human rights code, that if experimentation on human beings were to be put through again for any reason, that there must be standards to be followed. And I'm going to show you what the Nuremberg Code is. So the Nuremberg Code has 10 principles, and they are: voluntary consent is absolutely essential. They already broke that one. That's voluntary means I volunteer. I'm not pushed into, and I am not told that I will lose my job, my ability to travel if I don't want to take an experimental shot. The experiment must benefit society. That's what they said. However, I found a scientific paper that basically said that for every person that was so-called saved from COVID, 2 to 3 were actually injured. Experiments should be based on prior research. None of those had any prior research because we were the third phase testing for them. So number 4, unnecessary physical or mental suffering must be avoided. That they broke because there was a lot of physical and mental suffering that was being put onto people, especially with masks, distancing, staying home. Experiments should not be conducted if death or disabling injury is expected. Well, we've seen that in the vaccine injuries. Risk must never exceed the humanitarian importance of the problem being solved. Yeah. Adequate safeguards must be in place to protect participants in any harm or injury. Number 8, only scientifically qualified person may conduct experiments. We know that that wasn't the case. Participants must be free to withdraw at any time. We didn't actually have that choice. Researchers must stop the experiment if there is reason to believe it may cause injury, disability, or death. They didn't stop. Then I asked ChatGPT if there's anything in the Emergencies Act that they're allowed to actually surpass and break any of these codes, and if we also have Nuremberg-like codes in our laws. And we do. It's called the Food and Safety Act, and in there it says the exact same thing that the Nuremberg says. So not only did they break the Nuremberg codes, but they also broke their own Food and Safety Acts with the experimental vaccine. And now I'm going to show you the scientific paper that says that more people got injured than helped with the COVID vaccine. This is the scientific paper in question. If you pause to read, you'll see what their abstract is about. And here's their key findings, especially at the bottom here, where it says that with an increment of 2 to 3 cases of serious adverse events for every single case reduction of severe COVID. And the international ethical standards used in Canada should be ICH Good Clinical Practices and the Declaration of Helsinki, which is where the Nuremberg Code is under. The Canadian government broke Nuremberg codes that were set because the Nazis literally experimented on human beings, and the government did it again. So for those of you who are a little confused about why people are saying the Nuremberg Code thing, that's why.